What's up, you guys? So it's Layla Lynn, and I'm back with a new video. And in this video, we have to talk about Lizzo. Lizzo has been losing so much weight lately that she feels like she is giving BBL, like I sucked it out my tummy and put it in my backside. She's giving BBL allegations. So in this video, we're going to talk about her weight loss and how she is flaunting her new weight loss on social media. And I also have a special guest in this video. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because personally, I've been focusing more on my health and my fitness and mainly my circulation. And so I wanted to have a special guest. I have a special guest nutritionist who's going to join this conversation, and we're going to talk about Lizzo and her given BBL allegations.
Yeah, it's giving. It's giving BBL allegations. It's giving allegations. It's please. I TMZ. Did Lizzo get a BBL? Did Lizzo get a BBL? Cause what in the no? Who am I? The baddest. Don't you ever forget.
So, back in January, Lizzo announced to the world that she had reached her weight release goal, not weight loss goal, but release. She's releasing the weight. And she said she was a weight that she hadn't seen since 2014. Now, the thing about Lizzo, she doesn't give numbers. She never says what exactly the number is, but she has said that she has had a 16% reduction in body fat. So, if you can look at her before and kind of estimate her weight, which I'm really not good at doing. But if you can estimate her weight, just know that she lost 16% of her weight. And now she's finally at her weight release goal. And it's interesting because throughout her career, Lizzo has always been like a really staunch advocate for body positivity, especially for people with larger bodies. She's always promoted body positivity and self-acceptance. So there's been this question lately of her promoting body positivity but then working so hard to change her body. In an interview, she said, quote, "I've been methodical, losing weight very slowly." So she's doing it the healthy way and she's doing it with a slower pace. And she says she's not using Ozempic. And she revealed that she's now embracing body neutrality. Like instead of being so positive, because there is a thing of like toxic positivity. So instead of being so positive about her body, especially when she wasn't as healthy as she could be, she's now embracing body neutrality. But I want to go ahead and get into our special guest because I want you guys to join me. I'll be doing her group coaching program and we're going to work on our fitness. We're going to be working on our fitness. So let me go ahead and bring in our special guest. Family, we're here with Clary from Work It Lady podcast. And Clary, thank you. First of all, thank you for joining us. Clary, would you say like you're a health and wellness coach? Is that how you would describe it? Or how would you describe what it is that you do?
Yes, so I am a certified nutritional health coach. That is something I'm really passionate about. You can also give me the term nutritionist as well as an NPH Master Public Health student. So I really love all things health and nutrition.
I feel like you're such a perfect fit for my audience and for this conversation about Lizzo. And just off the bat, what are your first thoughts? We'll just say about Lizzo choosing to lose weight, period. Because for so long, like she came out as a bigger woman and it seemed like she was so proud, like the body positivity. She was so proud of being big, but then she decided, to lose weight. What are your thoughts about her making that decision after promoting like body positivity?
That is a great question. And you know what? I think it's a fair conversation to have because we've seen this with other celebrities too, where they will come out one way and kind of build a whole fan base around being one way and then
Yeah.
switch it up. I even think back in the day, I think Kelly Osbourne was even one where people were mad at her. So kind of just in my opinion, some of that I understand because everybody wants to see themselves in a celebrity. They want to feel like
Right.
they're represented and they have something that they're connecting to. But at the same time, everybody should be striving to be the best and healthiest version of themselves. So I can't be mad at Lizzo, for wanting to lose the weight. I think overall it was a good thing for her to do.
Mhm. So, when you talk about the healthiest version of yourself, a lot of times I hear people with like larger bodies say that they're healthy despite, having a larger body. What does that mean? Like, what are the markers of health?
That is a great question. And we are hearing a lot more of this nowadays. Now, what I will say is everybody's healthy version of themselves is not a zero size two. Those days are over. And me personally, even though I'm a smaller frame person, I'm glad they're over. And I'm going to tell you why. Not everybody is born to be 5'4" and 120 pounds. We have people who are larger. We have people who have different bone structures that are bigger. So you can have a bigger body per se and absolutely be healthy.
Mhm.
The issue is carrying excess weight, excess stored energy, because that is going to definitely have a negative impact on your health. So one thing I always tell folks is, girl, if you're carrying a little bit in, the dairy air, you carry a little bit larger in the chest, sometimes that's okay. The issue that is going to be a big problem for a lot of women is when you are carrying a lot of weight in your midsection. That is
Mm.
going to be what is going to be a big indicator to you that you're probably going to start to experience some adverse health effects from
Mhm.
having extra weight, one of which being excess stress on the heart. Okay, higher cholesterol, things like that, back issues, and even some kidney problems just from carrying extra weight in the midsection. So, if your midsection is small, if you go to the doctor and you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have diabetes, and you're
Mhm.
exercising 30 minutes a day, and this is still the body that you have, and you're not, stuffing Popeyes every day, well, then this might just be who you are, and that's okay.
Mhm. All right, so Lizzo has infamously denied using Ozempic, and I can kind of tell. Normally, when people use Ozempic, like they get Ozempic face, you can kind of tell when they're losing weight via Ozempic. But she's saying she's doing it the natural way, like dieting and exercise. But what are your thoughts on like celebrities and just regular people who are using Ozempic?
That is a really good question. That's a very, very, very good question because it opens up the conversation into a lot of different things. Like, are, medications okay to use for weight loss? And what are the side effects? All these things. I feel like if your doctor has encouraged you to use a weight loss drug, then it is going to be in your best interest, girl, to do that because they're probably seeing issues in your blood work that
Hmm.
are going to be a long term issue. And they would rather you use the medication to quickly get the weight off and try to balance out your health than you go on in this condition for a prolonged period of time. Okay. So, in that case, if it's, with a doctor's care, I absolutely think it could be good. Now, let's say that, you are a person who just doesn't want to diet and exercise and you put in zero effort and you like, oh, Ozempic is out. I'm about to hop on that.
Mm.
That's when I say, okay, let's exhaust all the natural avenues first. Okay. And let's
Okay.
see how far you get there because you're probably going to get even farther with the natural way of diet and exercise than you are going to get with Ozempic anyway. And then you get no side effects. There's no side effects to running, there is no side effects to eating healthy food. There is side effects to Ozempic, one of which being kidney issues and kidney disease.
Hmm.
So you have to ask yourself, okay, yeah, I might get the results that I want, but what are the long term risks? Okay, so
Right.
that would be, my advice there.
So when it comes to like doing things like the natural way, the healthy way, like dieting and exercising, like for me, I'll use myself as an example. Like my body, it responds to like a plant based diet, right?
Hmm.
But what if I don't want to be plant based? You know what I mean? So when I do a plant based diet, I'll lose weight, but then I don't long term, like I don't want to be plant based, and so then I'll end up gaining the weight back when I start to eat meat again. What do you do? Like if for people in that situation where the diet that helps them lose weight is not the like it doesn't seem sustainable.
That is a good question because it's all about sustainability. If you can't sustain it, don't even do it unless you are, again, in a very high risk category, like someone who a doctor would recommend Ozempic for, unless
Mhm.
you're in a very high risk category, it's not worth it to do something that's not sustainable, even if it is something as simple as diet and exercise. So now when you say plant-based, do you mean, oh, you only eat plants, or you eat minimal plant? Are you saying veganism? Is
Yeah,
that what
like
you're saying?
vegan, yeah.
Okay. So I actually, for most people, do not recommend being a vegan. Okay.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because even myself, although I would love to be a vegan, girl, that is not sustainable. Ain't nobody
Yeah.
trying to do that. Ain't nobody trying to do that. It's too, first of all, it is too hard. There's too many good foods out there. And that is a commitment. You have to be meal
Yeah,
prepping. You have to come up with creative ways, because, you can eat beans for protein and a few other things. But how many times are you really trying to have beans and tofu? And not everybody can even have tofu, because if you have autoimmune issues, tofu is not going to be your friend. Okay.
right.
So there's a lot of things to consider. So what I encourage people to do is do minimal meat diet. Okay. And so all
Okay.
you got to do is think more of a Mediterranean diet where you are plant heavy. You, most of your meat sources are going to be fish and some chicken. Avoid the heavy meats, red meat, pork. Avoid those as much as you can. But also in there, you gotta have some time for fun. I'm a Southern girl at heart. Okay,
Okay.
that is my cultural heritage. Generationally, I'm a Southern Black American, and you're not gonna tell me I'm not about to have my deep fried chicken and my fried fish. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Mhm.
Okay.
I hear you. I hear you.
It's just not gonna happen. And so what you do is you account for that. And what you do is you say, okay, once a month I have my fried meat treat, whatever it is. Okay. So that's what you can do. Even if you can get it down to I only have red meat or heavy meats once a week, you're still going to see a big change, and you're going to be able to lose weight and increase your health. And all of that, even just making a simple switch like that. What we don't realize is a lot of us are eating fried every day. We're eating heavy meats every day. We hitting that drive through every day. We hitting the whatever is the fastest. We hitting the Chipotle every day. Which Chipotle ain't that bad. It really isn't. But even if you can, again, just get it down to being minimal, just minimize it, and make sure you're getting your 3 fruits and your 3 veggies in every day. I cannot tell you how much of a healing effect that in itself has.
You guys, Clary is here giving it to us. Make sure you subscribe to her channel. There is a link to it below in the description box, and it's also in the comment section. Claire, let me ask you this. We're going to get into your channel, but also I just want to ask you quickly, because when it comes, like, I'm a Southern girl too, but
Hmm.
when it comes to like my household, like, do you think women should eat differently from men? Because I have heard that mentioned.
That is a great question. And girl, ask away. I am an open book, and I can do this all day, every day.
Okay. Okay.
That is a very good question. I would say the answer to that is absolutely going to be yes. And the reason why is our bodies carry so much more hormone than men. And
Okay.
hormone, people forget insulin is a hormone. So if you
Okay.
are having a lot of sugary things, that is going to in itself raise your estrogen levels. And you don't want them up high, girl, because guess what? Your estrogen levels are what are going to keep you healthy through the duration of your life. Women with high estrogen in their late 30s to our mid to late 50s is when our estrogen levels are at their highest. Actually, people think it's teenagers. Oh, they got raging hormones. They are getting baby bits of hormones. They're just starting to get
They're
hormones.
new to it. Yeah.
They're new to it. We are the ones where it is stacking up, girl. It's like estrogen through the roof. So I definitely encourage women to eat less carbs, less sugary things, less processed, cookies, cakes, pies, tasty cakes, ho-hos, honey buns. Eat
Yeah.
less of all of that, because it is going to raise your estrogen levels versus men. They really don't have to combat so much, with estrogen like that. And men are also, we forget that they have a different body structure, wider bone structure. Men have,
Mhm.
they are meant for heavy lifting. So they could eat a lot more than we can and
Mhm.
carry the weight and be okay, because their bodies are meant to turn all that into muscle a little faster than ours is. So I would say women, The one thing that I give everybody who takes part in my group to do is every woman should be eating a green apple a day, girl. A green apple a day.
Why green?
I'm gonna tell you why. Okay.
Okay, okay, let us know.
Green apple in itself is for some people, not for everybody, for a lot of women, especially us in the Black community, that in itself is going to be enough to start decreasing your cancer risk. Okay.
Okay,
And I'm going
okay,
to tell you why. Because when you have a green apple, the polyphenols in green apples are a little bit different than in the red, and they're a little bit more phyto dense, and they're not as sweet. So that's a good thing too. Now, the fiber in an apple is like a sponge. And what it does in your bloodstream, when you eat that apple, it hits you right here. Those little hair like phalanges in your intestines go and
mhm.
start breaking it down, and it sends it out into your bloodstream. It's a little sponge. And what it does is it cleans up extra estrogen in your bloodstream.
Oh, wow.
Girl,
What?
I'm trying to tell, look.
I did not know that. I saw something about green apples on your website, but I didn't know the details. So it cleans up the extra estrogen, and the
Clean
estrogen is what can kind of hold on to weight. Is that right?
that, and it can also increase your reproductive cancer risk. So your
Okay.
reproductive and breast especially, it is going to
Okay.
help with that. Also, if you are somebody who is pre-diabetic, or you have a lot of diabetes in the family, or you may be diabetic already, having a green apple is going to help reduce those insulin levels as well and keep your blood sugar regulated. And it's because of that plant-based fiber in the green apple is very good. A green apple a day is basically like a daily cleanse. We hear all about
Mm,
these cleansing
okay.
diets. It's
Yeah.
going to clean your bile ducts out. It is going to clean out that gallbladder really good and keep everything in that liver working well. And so when the liver is working well, you're able to fight off some of these other things, because your liver has enough brain power, if you will, to take
Mhm.
care of and clean up your other cells.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Girl, so tell us about the group. You mentioned the group coaching. Tell us about your group coaching.
Yeah, so the group coaching is very fun. Usually we do a green apple challenge every single year where the ladies in the group, we have our green apple every single day. We post our pictures in the
Okay.
group to encourage everybody. And what's nice about that is I've had some big discoveries and aha moments with my clients. One from last year, which is still my favorite thing to share. She was actually on a gallbladder medication, and
Mhm.
about 2 months of having her green apple, she was able to go off of that gallbladder medication by her doctor's advice, because the green apples did such a good job of cleaning out her bile ducts.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Wow.
Yes, so it is very important to keep that body clean, keep everything flowing nice and smooth. So that was a big aha moment. And so we do little things like that. People notice a difference in their skin on the green apple challenge. So another pro tip about green apples is that they actually have natural retinols in them.
Oh, okay. So that's for your skin, right?
That is your skin. So we buying
Okay.
retinol, spending $60
Yes.
a bottle, putting on the retinol. Girl,
Yes. That's how I know because I'm buying it.
that's right. Yeah, we can get them now. I still put them on top too, but I'm also
Yeah.
gonna eat mine too.
Okay. All right. So tell us more. Let's talk about your channel. Tell us about your Work It Lady podcast and your channel, your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so this is something that I'm very passionate about, because especially for those of us who come from a background that has had some financial challenges, we might not have the disposable income to spend on a nutritional health coach. You can go out and get a dietitian now that is covered by insurance, and that is a prime step. Like, if you can, go ahead and see a dietitian. But when you need the coaching, the person outside of the practice to kind of help you get the body moving and build the good habits, that's what the nutritional health coaches are here for. And so on my channel, what I do is I share a lot of free advice for people so that they can really just, if you don't have the funds to start up with group coaching, although mine is pretty affordable, it starts at
Mhm.
about $20 per month. So
Oh
it's,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
very
They got
affordable.
it. They got
Right. But some of them, some people charge 300 a month to their
yeah.
clients, good for them. But I'm not here for celebrities. I'm here for regular everyday people. I want to help my community. And so that's really the point of my YouTube channel, is to offer people, a way to get health information on current topics, challenges that they might be having, for free on YouTube. YouTube is a great resource for us. So I always tell people, take advantage of the free health providers, that are on YouTube. Engage with that content too, because it's a great way, to just get your foot in. Now, I will tell you something about my channel. My channel, I'm not so creative to do all of these special effects and things. So I do have a lot of voiceover type
Yeah.
videos where I'll just put something on the screen. It's something, girl, you put in when you're driving in your car. I have the podcast as well, so you can listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It's good to put on when you cleaning your house and you want some healthy background noise. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's good motivation. I do that, like, when I'm working on the treadmill, like, I'll listen to, like, podcasts just to, like, motivate me, like, "Keep going, you could do 5 more minutes, just keep going." So you
Right.
guys definitely subscribe to her channel. I'm actually gonna bring up your channel. Uh, Give me
Thank
just a
you.
second. No problem. Alright, so tell us about your video on anemia and increased cancer risk.
Yeah, this was a really popular video for me. And what was nice about this video was that I really was happy to do it. It was something that actually came up in one of our groups, in group coaching. And so I did make a whole video around it. The reason why this is so important is because I've had multiple women that I've coached over the years come to me and say, I have heavy bleeding. We also do a 3-day period challenge. That's also a challenge that we do. Basically, this was in response to something that had came up. We were doing our 3-day period challenge. That's also another challenge that I provide as a group coaching session. And I've heard time and time again where women have said, I have heavy periods, and it's been going on for so long. And my doctors have told me I need a hysterectomy. The doctors have told
Mm,
me I got to stop this bleeding. I need to address these fibroids. And a lot of us in our community are afraid to go under the knife. I have been under the
mhm.
knife for a similar issue that was a minute issue, but girl, I decided to just get that courage and get it taken care of. And so I would encourage people to do the same. Now, the reason why you want to address this is highlighted in detail in this episode, but the main reason is that being anemic will increase your cancer risk. This is
Okay.
why the doctors are pushing you to get it out, especially if you're past childbearing years or you know you don't want any kids, to address this issue. Because what happens is when you are anemic, you have mutated red iron cells. And it makes it very easy for those cells to go on and mutate into cancer cells. Okay. And so when you are
Oh.
anemic, this is a big problem. So, girl, if you are anemic, you need to get out of that state being anemic very quick. Now, I'll tell you from personal experience, both my mom and aunt got cancer at the same time.
Mm,
It was very difficult. There's a lot of cancer in my family, and the common denominator that was a common factor for all of them, including my mom and aunt who had it at the same time, was a history of anemia. Okay.
mm, okay.
Not addressing their low iron anemia by either taking the iron supplement, exercising, because exercising will reduce your anemia too. Did you know that?
I didn't. I've always been, like, on the borderline anemic.
Yes. If you
Yeah.
are anemic, you want to start doing 30 minutes of cardio every day because it's going to help your body produce more blood.
Mhm. Okay.
Because your blood flow encourages your body to produce more. And so that was in their case. Now my aunt did unfortunately succumb to her cancer. She had very aggressive breast cancer. My mom had a different type, a more rare type of cancer that was a blood cancer, but she is still with us. But
Mm,
again, if you ask any woman that has developed any type of reproductive cancer or even other types of cancers, a lot of them, not all, but a lot, will have a history of anemia.
okay.
And so we
Okay.
always are like, why do we get cancer? Why did this happen? It's the this, it's the that. They giving it to us. It ain't. Most of the time, it ain't. It's these little things that stack up over the years and become cancer. So these
Yeah.
mutated iron cells that are not fully developing because their iron is too low will go on for us to develop cancer for some, not all, but some.
All right. So can you tell us your thoughts on like how to get iron? Like, do you recommend the iron supplements or eating certain foods to get iron? Like, how do you recommend increasing like your iron intake?
Another great question. So, first, if you've been diagnosed with anemia by your doctor, you're going to want to take the supplements that they provide. They
Okay.
may prescribe you some. I recommend the prescription ones, I feel like work a little bit better. So, if
Okay.
you
Then the
can get
regular.
them, yeah, to give you a prescription form, that is a great thing to do. If not, they may recommend an over the counter one for you. Take that. So, that's step one. Now, let's say, maybe you've gotten to the place where they say you don't need the iron supplements anymore, but you need to maintain. This is where your iron rich foods are going to come in. Grits are a great source of iron.
Okay.
Having your fruits in conjunction with iron is going to help you break down that iron and send it to the parts of the body that need it. Also, cooking in a cast iron skillet will help you get some natural iron as well.
How is that? I know it's not the iron from the skillet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically the iron from the skillet. That is iron in its most natural form. And in those little bitty particles, it is good for human consumption. And so,
Okay.
just a little bit of that, will get onto the food. And that's a very nice way to get it in as well. But yeah, definitely search your iron rich foods, leafy greens, collard greens. That's why we got, we're pretty strong, you know what I'm saying, overall, because we have
Yeah.
that history of collard greens in the lineage. So
Yeah.
definitely eat those.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, you guys. So we are here with Clary from the Work It Lady podcast. And again, you can subscribe to her YouTube channel at the link below. There's links to her podcast and also her group coaching. And I think you said you're starting, is it the 30th of this month? You have a new group coaching class?
Yes, the 30th of this month, we'll have another group coaching kicking off, and I would love to have you guys join. And I'll definitely give you the link, and you guys can just click away and join. Our sessions are very friendly, relaxed, and open, very easy, and most people enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I also want to know you have so the 3-day period challenge, is it to get your period down to 3 days or how does that work?
Yes, that is a good
What?
question.
What?
Most people can do this. Now, I'm not going to say all people. It is a challenge. There are certain things that we eat and certain things that we do. It is a exercise and diet type commitment that you have to
Okay.
make to do that. And there's a lot of no's on the list, unfortunately. No dairy, no coffee, all of these things. Them last two, visit my channel and you'll see why you want to get off the dairy and the coffee, ladies. It is, I mean, really, you want to get off of that, but I ain't gonna go
Okay.
into that today. Yes, so you can, visit my channel and learn more about that. But yes, in the 3-day period challenge, we that is the goal. Now, I've been able to do that for a prolonged period in my life, and it does depend on where you're at in life and what your history is, if you're
Mhm.
really able to get it down to 3 days. But most women, let's say you're an over heavy bleeder and you're having
Mhm.
like a 10-day period, most women will at least be able to get it between 5 and 7 just by
Mhm.
making these adjustments. And that's more of a healthy, natural period that's not going to leave you anemic and all that stuff after.
Right, right. Because I did hear you say in one of your videos that your period can cause anemia, like I guess from losing all that blood. Is that right?
Oh yeah, people who have that's the main challenge. A lot of women who have fibroids, they have heavy bleeding, and then that leads to anemia. And again, the fibroids
Mm.
are a big problem because what feeds them is grease. The uterus is a sponge, so a lot of grease in there, into the bloodstream gets soaked up by the uterus. You get big fibroid growths, and then now you've got heavy periods. And only once you got a fibroid, I don't care what some of these people selling all these crazy supplements and the weirdo stuff.
Mhm.
Once you have fibroids, the only way to stop that is either way past menopause. I'm talking 60 plus, or you get the surgery. And for most
Okay.
women, you cannot shrink fibroids. If
Wow.
you got fibroids the size of watermelons and grapefruits, girl, you need surgery. You
You got to
gotta
get it
get it
out.
done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do see a lot of stuff about that, about using your diet to shrink your fibroids.
Mhm.
But you don't believe in that. What other foods? I know you mentioned like sugar. Are there other foods that affect like your hormones?
Yes, sugar is the biggest one because it's going to
Okay.
increase your estrogen and it's also going to increase your insulin. And those are the main things that are going to give you heavy periods also.
Okay.
And I mean, for years I had heavy periods. I was very sick. I would throw up every time I had a
Mm,
period. That's how messed up my hormones were. I mean, think
mhm.
about having I mean, pregnancy basically
Yeah.
on a period.
Yeah.
Insane, you know, but by doing these changes with my diet and exercising, I have healthy periods now. I don't throw up. So this is something that it can, there's a lot possible. I never want to say, you know, every single person out there can get down to a 3 day period. Because we always say, like, hey, sugar influences your hormones. And I think sometimes we don't know, like, what foods can actually do this to us on a regular basis. So I tell people, you know, watch out for things like, you know, the cakes, the cookies, and the pies, obviously. But this is another reason why you want to watch your coffee. A lot of people like the coffee with a lot of sugar, a lot of cream in it.
Mhm.
There's other issues with coffee why it's not good for reproductive health either. So that's another reason. I'll say another culprit that people don't realize and is popular, I feel, in some of our community is the fruit drinks. Like we'll have in the refrigerator, Minute Maid was popular in my
Oh,
household, the Minute Maid juices and stuff like that. It's a lot of
yeah.
sugar in those and not a lot of actual fruit. And even fruit juices in itself, because you're getting all the sugar from the plant, but you're not getting the fiber along with it, which is the
Mm,
most important part. So that's why we have to even be careful with juicing. I mean, I almost gave myself diabetes from daggone over juicing. So
mm.
you can't do stuff. You gotta eat your fruits and
Yeah.
veggies, you know, and stuff like that. So little things like that, I think, are what really get us in trouble, and we're not realizing what we're doing. And it really is easy to kind of hone in on this. So I tell people do this. If you're trying to figure out your period and shorten it, challenge yourself to 30 days of no cookies, pies, sugary coffee, sugary drinks, none of
Yes.
that.
Yes. Imma do that. I'm on
Yes,
it.
do it for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, you're not going to have a 3 day period, but what you will have is less cramping. If you got endometriosis, you'll start to notice that you'll have less pain with your endometriosis. That's another thing
Mm,
that I used to have that is basically pretty much subsided all because I don't have so much sugar feeding those endometrial cells.
mhm.
So do that 30-day experiment. You will be surprised. You'll be like, wow, I feel much better with this period. Maybe it was a little bit lighter, but I didn't have as much cramping. I didn't have nausea. My breasts weren't as tender. Our breasts should not be literally on fire during our
Right.
periods. If your
Right.
breasts are that tender, girl, skip, don't walk, run to the doctor because you are in high risk for developing breast cancer because your breasts are
Mm,
already too hormonalized. The
mm.
hormones in your breast, because the breast tissue is hormonalized.
Right.
Okay. So it is already too high. That's why it's so tender like that.
Okay. Okay, that
Mhm,
makes sense. That makes sense.
mhm.
All right. Well, I wanna thank you, Clary, for joining us, and is there anything you wanna leave us with?
You know, ladies, I just want to thank you so much, you know, for the opportunity to sit up here and run my mouth with y'all. You know, I'm very passionate about this and I could go on for days. I get very excited, but it is because I want to help my community because a lot of the challenges that I've seen in my family, I want to help people so they don't have to go through it. I'm trying to reach our youth much younger because if we
Yeah.
can get them on track when they're hitting their 30s, 40s, 50s, they're not going to have these issues and then they can produce a healthier next generation also,
Mhm.
you know, because
Yeah.
when you have your baby, your grandbaby's in your womb, the eggs are already in your baby.
Yes, yes. I just
Okay.
and you know what? It never occurred to me. I saw something about that on social media the other day, but it never occurred to me because her eggs are inside her. Yes. So
That's
you can carry
right.
your grandbaby.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So, you know, and even if you decide not to have children, just having these healthy conversations around nutritional health is so important for us. So, thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity and stop by anytime.
Yes, stop by, make yourself at home. Subscribe to the Work It Lady podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Spotify, Apple, and then she has her group coaching as well.
There's the group coaching that you can join. The challenges are a part of the group coaching. And then, of course, there is my YouTube channel here, which is a great free resource. I hope you guys will subscribe. And then, the podcast where you get some extra little tidbits over there as well. But the content is pretty similar. But, then you can ingest it in any format. You out on a run, you doing your grocery shopping, you on the bus with your earbuds in. So you have multiple ways to ingest the info. And then you can also give me a follow on Instagram as well. Work It Lady
Yeah.
Podcast.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you, Clary. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will be seeing you. I'm going to do the group coaching. It's only $20. So it's kind of like no excuse not to do it. So your next session, I'm going to do the group coaching. And I hope to see some of my subscribers there. We can do it together.
Oh, that is amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
that'll be
appreciate
fun.
it.
Now, if you made it this far to the end of the video, then I think you like my content. So make sure you subscribe and check out my channel. I have over 1,000 videos on my channel. Check out my playlist and my podcast, and I assure you, you will like more of my content.